Hello, and welcome to the ConsistentOptionsIncome.com Pairs Trading Course, Lesson Number 5, Entering and Exiting Pairs Trades. Let's get started. So the first rule is that we always enter the short side of our pair first. We don't want to be in the situation where we get filled on our long side and then for some reason not be able to get our short trade filled. It's always harder to get the short side filled than the long side. So we always start with the short side, make sure we can get that on, and then usually getting long on the long side of our pair isn't a problem. Now, one of the reasons that the short side could be difficult to execute is that sometimes stocks become hard to borrow. Now, we try to avoid hard to borrow stocks when coming up with our pairs list. However, this designation can change. Depending on the demand, the brokers may run out of shares that they can lend out for people to borrow in order to short. So we always want to be attuned to the fact that we could run into a hard to borrow situation no matter how much work we've done up front to avoid that. Also, don't scale into trades. If you read a lot about pairs trading on the internet, you'll hear a lot of people talking about scaling into their trades. And basically what they're saying is that this pairs trade was a good trade when I first got in. It's gone against me a little bit, so it must be a better trade now. All this ends up doing is increasing your exposure to the losers. So you end up losing more on your losers than you do on your winners. So if you want to put another trade on, just trade one of the other pairs that you've got a signal on and increase the number of occurrences that you have. The more occurrences of pairs trades that we have, the better chances are that we're going to realize the probabilities of our trade that are definitely in our favor. So you want to trade as many pairs as you can. Try to only have one open pairs trade with any given symbol. In other words, we don't want to be trading 5 pairs and have the same symbol in all 5 pairs, because then we're not spreading out our risk. So usually I try to just keep it so that I only have any given symbol only represented in one side of any given pair. This just helps with our risk reduction. Also, we need to manage our entries to reduce the effects of slippage. This point right here is probably the number one point. We don't make a lot of money in our pairs trades, and so we can't afford to give up slippage. Slippage is going to be part of our trading no matter what, but we can minimize it as best as possible. So this one rule is probably the most important, is that we always need to make sure that we're using limit orders, and we use limit orders in a way that we try to get the best price that we possibly can. And if for some reason we don't get filled at that price, at that limit price, we can always do a cancel and replace and work the order until we get the best fill that the market's willing to give. Alright, exiting the trade. You can look to exit a pairs trade when you receive an alert. This is usually when our indicator in NinjaTrader goes below or above 0.5, depending on whether you're long the pair or short the pair. You could also just plan to manage the trades every day during a specific time period. This should probably be the same time every day. I do know pairs traders who only trade once a day. They enter opportunities as they come around, but they only manage their closing trades once a day. So one of the main advantages we have with pairs trading is that we're able to have this staying power. In other words, we're almost in a perfectly hedged situation, so we can afford to wait until we're right. We can kind of hang in there and wait for the normal relationship of the pair we're trading to come back to norms, and at that point we should be able to take a profit. So the risk of any given trade getting away from us really badly is pretty low. Also, just as with entries, on the exits we want to manage our exits. In other words, use limit orders and work the limit orders. Brokers and commissions. We need to keep our trading costs as low as possible. Again, we're not making as much money on pairs trading as we would in some other form of trading, so we need to keep our costs low. And one of the ways to do that is to keep our commissions low. We'll be trading a lot of odd lots because we want the dollar value of both sides of our trade to be even, so we'll be trading a lot of odd lots. And so having the proper commission structure is going to be important, that we don't waste money on our activity with our broker. We need commissions that are well below 1 cent per share, and we don't want a ticket charge. We don't want a minimum ticket charge. So if for some reason you can't get these kinds of rates from your broker, please contact me and I will try to set you up with a broker where you can get some professional stock trading commissions. Okay, if you have any questions about this video or the content, you can contact me at john@consistentoptionsincome.com, and for more information you can check our website at consistentoptionsincome.com. Coming up next, Lesson 6, Managing Pairs Trade Risk.